From moves that can destroy an entire house to those that can destroy the entire universe, ultimate attacks in anime can get truly beyond human comprehension in terms of power. Some of them can even allow you to shape reality or even control all of fiction itself. However, not all ultimate moves kill or destroy opponents. Sometimes they're crucial to winning a card game, which is why we're gonna start off with the weakest ultimate moves in anime, starting with the ultimate move in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Exodia. Now, summoning this godlike golem of Egyptian power is not an easy feat. You have to manage to either draw or play all 5 pieces of Exodia, which are different cards, but if someone does, they win the game automatically. That's actually used by a couple of different duelists throughout the series, like Gozaburo Kaiba and Seeker, but we all know who really uses this as his ultimate move: Yugi himself, of course. And in the maybe most iconic scene in Saturday morning anime history, when he yells "Exodia obliterate" to defeat Seto Kaiba, that's a childhood memory I still cherish to this day. But let's now take things away from fictional card games to fictional sports games. Of course, a bunch of sports animes also have their own ultimate movesets, like the Absolute Monster Quick from Haikyuu, a set so fast and coordinated only the Miwa twins and Hinata are able to even hit it. Or there's also Isagi Yoichi and Ito Shirin's spatial awareness power, an ability that lets them dominate the football pitch within Blue Lock. Then there's also arguably the coolest named attack in all of sports anime, the 100,000 Demon Drop from Hinomaru Sumo, a powerful sumo technique used by Hinomaru Ushio to devastate his opponents within the ring. And all of these are just incredibly powerful ultimate moves that help the main characters of some sports anime go for the golds. But rightfully, you might now be saying these may be powerful techniques within their own right and their own stories, but we need something that actually deals some real damage. So while eventually these ultimate moves will destroy existence itself, let's get to some that help fighters brutalize their opponents in a 1 versus 1 match. We gotta work our way up there, right? So for example, there is the Clap Stunner from Assassination Classroom, a technique that's used by Nagisa to distract his opponents before setting up a fatal strike. Then there's also something like the final form of the Hinokami Kagura in Demon Slayer, a sword dance capable of killing the Demon King Muzan himself. By performing and repeating all 12 moves of this dance series, the final 13th form is unlocked, allowing someone like Tanjiro to unleash their full power against the Prime Demon. However, when it comes to an ultimate move that can be used against any opponent, not just demons, you'd be pretty hard-pressed to find a technique better suited than Dress, the Hanma family's secret technique from Baki the Grappler. And actually somewhat similar to Demon Slayer, this move used by Yujiro Hanma is actually also passed down to him by his father, Yuichiro Hanma. In a nutshell, by grabbing an opponent's wrist or ankles and whipping their entire body around the user, they create the appearance of wearing their own enemy, much like a dress. Then they can break their bones, destroy their nerves, and even use the person themselves as a weapon like nunchucks to defeat waves of trained soldiers. Like, what a real nightmare of a technique that one is. However, those are just powerful hand-to-hand combat moves. A real ultimate attack, of course, needs to be able to defeat an opponent so fast that they can't even prepare themselves for it. I'm talking about a massive Rasengan or a Kamehameha, something to really get the people going. But don't worry, I know one technique that does all of that and even more. Let me ask you this. What do you think all these series here have in common? Initial D, Speed Racer, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, Konosuba, and F-Zero GX. That's right, they all do share the same ultimate power, Vehicular Manslaughter. Beep beep bitch, get out the way, because sometimes all you need to prove absolute power is a simple felony. And while these shows might not all include this, it's definitely possible. And Konosuba actually does this to Isekai, its own protagonist, so that works for me, and I would count that as them using. Okay, but let's now really bump things up. We need some truly powerful ultimate moves, and I know just a pair to lead us into the next tier of this video: true power. We're not talking about defeating supernatural beings, destroying cities, and unblockable killing moves. And I think it's best that we talk about a couple of cute and wholesome family moves, because nothing says this is my ultimate move quite like being it passed down from your own parents. And that's of course why Maka's Kishin Hunter from Soul Eater and Dai the Hero's Giga Strash from Dragon Quest Dai are the perfect moves to kick off this very category. Now, Kishin Hunter is an ability designed by the Meister Maka to defeat the psychotic and chaotic beast, the Kishin. Based on her mother's ultimate move, Genie Hunter, this move turns her Scythe, who is also her roommate coincidentally, into a massive energy blade capable of harming this ultimate creature. Also, a quick shout out here to Maka's non-canon anime only ultimate move, which turns her into the original Chainsaw Man basically. Not as cool as the manga, but we will still take that one. And meanwhile, over in Dragon Quest Land, Dai combines his master's Avon, the hero's signature move Avon Strash, with his father's ultimate move Giga Break to create his very own special power, and you will never guess what it's called. Giga Strash. An incredibly broken and terrifying combo move that can deal insane amounts of damage even to the Demon King himself. Good on you, little Dragonite boy, make both your daddies proud there. And speaking of daddies, I think it's about time that we talk about one, because sometimes despite the main character, well, you know, existing, you just sometimes can't surpass your dad. At least that's the case for Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist, because when it comes to alchemy, nobody does it better than him. He doesn't have a move per se, but that's because he is the move. He's a walking, talking philosopher's stone, which makes every single move of his ultimate compared to everyone else's stuff in the series. He's able to create just about anything that he wants out of light or his surroundings without the need for any transmutation circle or even moving his own body. But even so, with creation comes also destruction, and a power that is a perfect foil or counter to Hohenheim here is the Unlaw of Unluck from Undead Unluck. Why not try saying that one 10 times in a row real fast? Now, this series took the world by storm for a very good reason. Its unique focus on really weird and unique powers, which is quite amazing, and none more powerful than the infamous Unluck. By making contact with someone, Izumo can infuse someone with, well, you guessed it, bad luck. And depending on how long the contact has been made and how intimate it is, the worse the Unluck also is. I'm talking literal meteors raining from the sky, sharks appearing out of nowhere, lightning bolts, explosions, car accidents, you name it, it can happen when Unluck is actually activated. And even though we've already now talked about some truly cool ultimate abilities, just you wait, because we haven't even gotten close to the insane laser beams, reality-bending punches, and god-killing sword strikes just yet. And before we make our way to the ultimate true destruction, we actually have one more tame move left, the Death Note, an object of pure murder and the ultimate move of Light Yagami. And let's face it, when your little diary here is an instant kill that can't be avoided, it's gonna be an ultimate move. But it's not quite as effective as a weapon of mass destruction as some other things, like this bomb, the poor man's rose from Hunter x Hunter, that finally takes us to the city-destroying power level. Being the final move of Chairman Isaac Netero, this device is a cheaply mass-produced nuclear bomb. It's the only thing capable of destroying the Ant King Meruem, aka the ultimate bad bug in the series, and I really wanted to put the Guanyin Bodhisattva or the amazing bungee gum in here, but sometimes landing a 25-person kill streak and dropping a nuke is just way more powerful than any other creative superpower. And hey, if nukes just haven't been invented yet in your series, don't worry, because you can always do what Lightning God Enel does in One Piece and just drop a giant storm lightning nuke instead. How sweet. Now, I also thought about putting Garb's Galaxy Impact, Kaido and Big Mom's Ocean Sovereignty, or even Luffy's Byron on here, but they just are not quite powerful enough. There's no other way to put it when it comes to leveling an entire island. Only Slim Shady's Raigo is there. It's an island-busting orb of pure destruction, and it's probably, right now at least, the single most fearsome thing a single individual person can do in One Piece. Unless you count the ancient weapon Uranus, which I don't, because it's just not in the spirit of this video, so NL it is. Alright, but now we've talked about massive island destroying attacks, but what about some ultimate moves that simply have the destructive power to completely erase one person from existence itself? Think the power output of a massive nuclear bomb, but funneled and very targeted. Because that's exactly the case for these next few moves on our list. The Angel Arm from Trigun, Friren's Zoltrak, and the Demon Gun Mega from Yu Yu Hakusho. Now the Angel Arm is basically a genetic power that lets the user turn their own arm into a massive, biblically destructive angel cannon with powers rivaling that of a nuclear bomb. And is also the ultimate move of any planet, namely Vash and Million Knives. Reality, warping, space, alien powers truly rule in my personal opinion. And in a complete genre 180, we now go from science fiction to high fantasy with Friren's Zoltrak. Now, I gotta be honest, it's not her flashiest spell, but it's all that she needs to completely curb stomp any and every foe in her own era. It is the main reason that she taught it exclusively to her apprentice and believes it's the only power strong enough to defeat her. Something that's actually proven during the first anime season's final few episodes. And then to round things off, we have the ultimate spirit gun, the Demon Gun Mega, what a name, because Yusuke can tap into his full demon power, essentially creating a Kamehameha-esque beam that can basically completely annihilate anything that it hits. That's not quite as powerful as a Dragon Ball attack that's coming up pretty shortly, don't worry, but it is a very mighty move nonetheless. More like Demon Gun Control-Alt-Delete, am I right? Alright, well then into the next ability we go. Because here it is, what you've all been waiting for. Now we got some country level of destruction. Abilities that are capable of completely wiping out armies, nations, and hell, probably some of them even entire continents. At least theoretically for this first one. I'm talking about Ainz-Ul Gon's S-tier super ability, Shub-Nigrath from Overlord. Now technically she's a goddess and an ability at the same time, but it's kind of connected, and when our dearly beloved skeleton warlock activates this very spell, it summons her kaiju-sized children, the Dark Young, to destroy all life around them. Now everything here is basically a Lovecraftian eldritch horror, which makes sense because that's where the name comes from. Anyway, these children complete the Dark Offering ceremony by completely leveling armies and nations, a power that would probably be able to destroy an entire country if Ainz actually allowed and wanted it. You know what though? I kind of don't want to just be theoretical. I'm feeling a little bit edgy. I want actual abilities that completely wipe out continents. You know what that means? Get over here, Eren Yeager. Come on, it's time for the rumbling. No? Okay, well, he's a bit camera shy. Rumbling. Anyways, you all know about this absolutely insane genocidal ability that Eren uses here. But in case you've been living under some sort of giant rock, once Eren turns into a massive skeleton centipede monster man, he can also unleash a horde of colossal titans on the world. Apparently somewhere around 500,000 or so based on some weird YouTuber math that everyone does. Now, not a call out at all. I'm guilty of it too. Shout out to weird YouTuber math. It's, I guess, a career path. But anyways, yes, Eren uses this army of titans to destroy like 80% of the human population, and isn't that just so nice of him? Not maniac behavior at all. You're completely normal if you defend and love Eren. Don't worry, you totally don't need to go get your ethics and morals checked out because this weird sad boy destroying the world and committing a genocide is really totally reasonable, right? Boy, AOT stands are just absolutely crazy sometimes, I do swear. Okay. I don't know where else to put these next few ultimate moves, and it's for a good reason, because in theory, they are all totally the most broken and godlike abilities, but they do have a weird set of constraints that make them inherently weaker than the others yet coming up. But then again, because of the crazy potential they have, I do feel like they had to be at least this high in the video. I'm talking about the series of ultimate moves that copy other people's abilities. We're talking about Okotsu Yuta's technique from Jujutsu Kaisen, Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony from That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime, and even transform in Pokemon are all great examples. Basically, after Yuta consumes someone or something, he can then use their curse techniques. Now, I'm sure you thought that I'd put the World-Cutting Dismantle, Hollow Purple, or maybe even Mahoraga on this list from JJK, but Yuta's power is just better and also stronger because he can use all of these moves and many more so long as the right requirements are met. And the same can be said about a Pokemon like Ditto using Transform. So Ditto can just straight up become Arceus, Rayquaza, or Bidoof and use all their moves. It's inherently the strongest move, at least in the anime. But honestly, the strongest out of these is probably Belzebub because Rimuru himself is already a god tier character. And so of course his absolute absorption ability is the best out of the entire bunch because this move just eats it all. Anything it eats, it can recreate, use, and most importantly, improve upon. Like if you want, he's kind of like Kirby but on steroids and then even a little bit better still. And since it happens every single time I talk about Mr. Tempest over here, yes, I know that he's even more broken in the light novels. I know, and now he and Ainz from Overlord literally use the same attack name, Shub Ni Grath, for their totally broken and world-shaking moves as well, but the anime and the manga are just nowhere close to that point yet, so I do focus just on the anime and manga version of Rimuru, so Belzebub it is. But again, if you want me to make a video about light novel Rimuru, who is just one of the all-time most broken characters in anime, let me know in the comments and we'll definitely get it done. So, well, yeah, technically all of these abilities could be the strongest if conditions are just right. I think all of the more insane, instantly broken and reality breaking ultimate abilities we're gonna talk about next are just way stronger by default because we're now officially entering the god-slaying move tier. Like Escanor's ultimate move from the 7 Deadly Sins, the One. By sacrificing his own life and letting go of his power source, the Virtue of Sunshine, this man pulls a full Johnny Storm and goes flame on. Now, he already could rival a character like Melodius, but in this form, he's able to surpass the Demon King himself with pure sunlight power and completely burn him from the mortal worlds. Really, the only reason he survives in the end is because the commandments existed. If those hadn't been around, Big Demon Lord would have been absolute toast. Left sunny side up with a side of Unworthy, the old Escanor breakfast special. And of course, there's also the Multi-Dragon Force, which is Natsu's ultimate move in Fairy Tail. With this superpower of friendship, Natsu can combine the power of all the Dragon Slayers into the most destructive and godlike magical power capable of defeating the immortal dragon Agnologia. Agnologia? I'm gonna stick with Agnologia. A dragon who, without breaking a sweat, was able to manhandle Discount Shanks over here, all of Fairy Tail, and even threatened and struck fear into the Dark Wizard Seraph. Basically, Natsu's whole purpose is defeating this very dragon, and with the divine power of the Multi-Dragon Force, he did exactly that. Really, when it comes to god-slaying ultimate moves, there's a fair argument to be made that Record of Ragnarok's Buddha has the strongest deity-destroying move that there absolutely is. And considering the fact that technically every move he uses could kill a god, it's pretty safe to say that his ultimate ability would be the best of the best. And by using the Sacred Volunteer technique, Buddha converts another god, Zerofku, into a divine blade powered by enlightenment itself, which sounds super awesome. And with this 7-pointed sword, Buddha cuts down the strongest demon to ever exist. And let's go! I mean, that's what I've been talking about. God, I just love geeking out over these absolutely broken and hyped moves, and we aren't even close to the craziest yet, which is just my favorite part of this video. We just keep getting crazier. So let's keep it freaking going, right? I want to get to the super broken stuff at the end of the video that just literally breaks fiction and the fourth wall itself. And you know what's even crazier than slaying gods? Psst. enslaving planets. That's right, sometimes the most broken ability is using your immense power to accomplish any task you want without even having to do any sort of destruction. Meaning that we're now officially entering our next level, which is the mind control tier. And that's actually why someone like Lelouch from Code Geass has a truly malevolent ultimate move, the power of absolute obedience. By using his gears, he can force anyone to do a task of his choosing. This, along with his mastermind level intellect, something I talk about in our smartest anime character video, by the way, makes him a truly fearsome leader with a truly scary and powerful ultimate move. But honestly, it kind of pales in comparison to the ultimate justice in Naruto, Madara Uchiha's Infinite Tsukuyomi. Specialized, special teams, and special players here, folks, because by bouncing his divine eyeballs off of the moon itself, the ghost of the Uchiha clan can enslave the entire shinobi world. It puts all of them into an eternal slumber and allows the user to handcraft and manufacture a perfect dreamscape for each individual target. That's right, Madara literally is pulling the strings on every single individual's dream world. Like, what a homie move, and I hope he threw some fun and naughty stuff in there too, maybe. Now, this ability works on everyone as long as they don't have a Rinnegan user like Sasuke protecting them. And well, technically, I guess if they're dead too, like the Edo Tensei Kage squad there, regardless, this power still is the ultimate form of mind control in all of anime. However, I think it's now time that we shift up from mind control and god slaying to literally world-breaking, reality warping, and even universe-crushing powers. Let's ramp it up to the reality breaker tier because these are ultimate moves with the power to break the fabric of space and time. It's kind of like the Kool-Aid Man, but for existence itself. Oh yeah. And honestly, I think there is nobody better to start with than Saitama's Serious Punch from One Punch Man. This is a punch that, at full power, can completely erase someone from existence and destroy entire stars, light years away, as seen in his battle against Garo. Planets, space-time, and gods themselves all fear the mighty fist of this very bald man, so go put some respect on people with hair loss, Saitama. Let's go. Now, on the opposite side of raw power, we have pure skill. A sword strike with such refined and perfect execution that it can rip a hole into the universe. We're talking about Yami Tsukihiro's Dark Cloak Dimension Slash from Black Clover. This dark magic attack can rip through the dimensions itself. It's able to kill devils untouchable by any normal means, and it can even defeat opponents from an incredible distance by cutting the world itself. And as previously mentioned, if Yuta's copy wasn't the ultimate JJK move in the story, then Sukuna's world-cutting cleave would also fit in here really great as well. But now it's also finally time for the Dragon Ball entry as well. So take your guesses. Is it Vegeta's final explosion, Goku's super spirit bomb, or maybe Gohan's beastly special beam cannon? So many moves in Dragon Ball can rip open reality itself. It wasn't really that easy to choose from, but I did have to go with the ultimate move of the ultimate being, Gogeta. That's right, Vegito fans, you lose this very round because this fusion of Goku and Vegeta uses a move that erases evil itself, the Stardust Breaker. It's a power capable of crippling even the legendary Broly, a man capable of breaking space and time by yelling and throwing a punch. Meaning that this sparkly blast is truly something else. However, stop. This is where I have to go back to some theory work because I actually lied to all of you earlier. I know, but what can I say? I mean, this is Tanuki Tales. Deception and trickery are kind of sort of the whole thing I built the brand and the channel on here. Anyways, the very first entry on this list was a little bit dishonest because despite his card game powers, Exodia is an actual real-life character in Yu-Gi-Oh! You see, in Season 5, they go back to ancient Egypt and use giant stone tablets to summon monsters like the Egyptian gods, the blue-eyed ultimate dragon, and yes, of course, Exodia. And it's actually stated that the only limit to his insane power is the life force and power of the man who summoned it. So if someone like Gogeta or Saitama used the real Exodia, well, I think that he's actually more than capable of obliterating the entire universe. But as I said, I don't want to just do theoretical moves here, so let's shift things back into 5th gear and talk about our next tier, the reality controlling ultimate moves, because it's easy to break the universe, but to bend it to your own will, that takes some serious skill and power, unlike anyone on this list so far. The weakest of these powers being the quirk New Order from My Hero Academia. Remember, this is a power that needed to be destroyed because if it was used for evil, it would break the entire series. This quirk, used by Star and Stripe, can create new rules for the universe based on her own will. As long as she orders the command and words, it will happen. This is even capable of breaking the rules of the series itself, erasing All for One's quirks. But if you wanted to get really crazy here, let's talk about the strongest power in Bleach. So yes, finally, Bleach gets to be super high on one of these tier lists that I've been doing right here, so please stop yelling at me. Please, it's hurting my feelings. So Hoktwa, Yowake, Chubwok, however you pronounce Jowok's name, his ultimate move is what we're talking about right here. The Almighty. Not to be confused with this America-loving superhero All Might, the Almighty is a power to maneuver the future and force it to exist, meaning that he can see infinite outcomes as if they were grains of sand. And then he places whatever future he wants into the real timeline, changing his own death, breaking objects for seemingly no reason, and sculpting the timeline to his own needs. So I guess kind of like go off and bend fate to your own will, whack-a-mole in a way. Also, I just found out that apparently you pronounce his name Yuhaba, so do with that whatever you want, viewers. But now enough silliness, we've now got more wacky and wild attacks to cover here, but how about a move that literally controls the entire universe? Putting them above the laws of death in the universe itself, well, that's actually the absurd power of the God Hand and Griffith in Berserk. It kind of puts these beings on a plane of existence outside of the mortals and regular universal laws. Now, to be completely honest, I don't know how it all exactly works in terms of comparing it to the other series on this list, but I do know that it still exists in the confines of its own universe technically, which means it has to be weaker than what's still left to come, but also it breaks the fourth wall. It's a really weird, wacky power, but don't get that twisted. It's still a disgustingly powerful ability that lets Griffith transcend reality and the medium itself, putting him in a power tier matched only by a real handful in the history of fiction. I'm of course talking about this weird horse and kid with a very creepy smile. Made in Heaven from JoJo's and Shinra from Fire Force are the first on our list to ever enter the universe-destroying tier. Now, their ultimate moves allow them to accelerate their speeds to such an unbelievable amount that they can rewrite not just time, not just a planet, but the entire universe. They literally ascend to universe-destroying levels in the 11th hour with sheer speed. Also, shout out to Shinra's ultimate move creating Soul Eater's universe, making it the only move on the tier list to literally create another person's ultimate move, that being Maka's Kishin Hunter that we talked about earlier. However, even they don't have the true destructive potential of the next two on this list, because their abilities pierce the heavens and they use love and friendship to break their respective series altogether. And quite frankly, if I hadn't put them this high on the list, my own team would probably hate me now, because they constantly argue that these two series should be at the top of most of these lists that we do. And the ultimate moves in question are 1. The Silver Moon Crystal Eternal Power from Sailor Moon, and the Super Tengen Toppa Giga Drill Break from Gurren Lagann. Now, the reasons that these two are above Made in Heaven and Shinra's moves are because, well, they're just absolutely incredible. They cannot be calculated at all. They destroy concepts, give universal control to the user, and are bigger than the universes that they are actually placed in. Chaos and the Anti-Spiral are villains, essentially eldritch gods that exist outside their own universes. Antimatter, the antithesis of life, pure insanity. Whatever you want to call it, they aren't in the same plane of existence as their actual stories. And this blonde girl and this rat kid in sunglasses literally team up with their buddies to rewrite and take control of the universe itself. How? Why? What in the world does that even mean? And most importantly, how is that not it? Because yeah, that's right, there is actually one more power even stronger than that. More busted than destroying universes, rewriting reality, and even stronger than Sailor freaking Moon. And I actually already said its name at the very beginning of this video. Editors, show them what we're talking about here. Some of them can even allow you to shape reality or even control all of fiction itself. That's right, it's an anime power so powerful it even weaved its way into my own mind. It wrote the script for this video, it edited and created the video. It's a power unlike any other. It's the power to not only rewrite, erase, and break the universe it's from, but fiction itself. Medaka Box, you have done it. I congratulate you on your parody concept and ultimate move, all fiction. Because I really don't know how else to put it, because the name describes it pretty perfectly. Because Misogi Kumagawa, this student council vice president, is God. Controls the entire fabric of the series. You just cannot comprehend what he can do at all, because he can do it all. And it's a passive ability, an ultimate ability that's active at all time, controls everything, and just is the all-time strongest ultimate power in anime and manga. It's just undeniable because it's beyond even power itself. It is all of fiction. It's literal storytelling and rewriting the story itself in a way. But sometimes it's not just about world-breaking ultimate moves, but really just raw physical power. After all, to bust out all of these crazy techniques, you also need to have that high-protein, massive firepower diet. And oh man, I just wish there was a video here detailing just how physically strong anime characters are, ranking them from weakest to strongest. I think that would be great to watch. I did that already? All right, well, check out that video over here. And otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It's very annoying to hear, I know, but it really helps out a smaller channel just like this and helps us grow. Thanks so much for watching.